Hi, Tom here from Spot On with Lino and Tom. Tune in for some topical discussion and laugh therapy with Lino and me. I'll be covering my favorites like weird news of the week and what I'm liking on Netflix, the next best gadget, and whatever else comes to mind.
We both have our own interests. I love reporting on the latest movies being filmed here in Boston, checking out new musical talent, and just talking to people.
We'll also be featuring segments such as on-the-spot interviews where Lynn and I venture out and ask questions of our listening public.
That's my favorite part. Besides hanging out with my buddy Tom. Now that's the icing on the cake. And cake. I love talking about cake. We love talking about everything. So tune in Monday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern right here at Armed Radio Global.
Now, there's a clear winner in the battle of the Ultimate Smoking Championship. And the undisputed champion is eCigShop.com. It's eCigShop.com. We carry Smoke Tech, Kanger Tech, Aspire, and many more. And featuring our own brand of e-liquid, eCig America. Handcrafted right here in the USA. We offer military and veteran discounts. And donate to the Wounded Warrior Project. Plus, get free shipping. Details online. Your home for all your e-cig and e-liquid needs. e-cigshoppe.com. eCigShop.com.
All right, welcome back, folks. I'm Mike Allen. You're listening to On the Air. We're on the Armed Radio Global Network. If you'd like to call in to tonight's show, 1-866-225-5401, or tweet me at ArmedRadio1, hashtag it Armed Radio, so I can get it up on TweetDeck, and I'll read your tweets live over the air. I'm talking with Miss Rebecca Paddock, longtime listener, longtime guest. Back to the show. She is running for senator against John Cornyn and some other guy. You know how to say his name. I don't know who it is. Now, I went to a fact check. Of course, this fact check page is called Fact and Myth. It is a liberal slanted page, and I just wanted to read this about the voter fraud thing that we just did. This is a myth. Dead people are voting. Massive fraud is happening. Fact, the vast majority of these are clerical errors or instances of citizens who have died since voting. I can't even pick that apart yet. Let me keep going. Voter fraud has become another point of contention in the U.S., largely divided among political lines. The Republican Party, in general, is in favor of stricter ID laws, often makes claims to rampant voter ID fraud. Stories abound regarding alleged voter fraud, and those include the anomalous dead person votes. It's getting late. While appalling at first, it turns out that these generally tend to have benign explanations. As the Brennan Center for Justice found in The Truth About Voter Fraud, these cases of voter fraud are generally nothing more than citizens who have died since voting, flawed matching lists, flawed interpretation of lists, or other clerical errors. As a police officer, what I just read is called evidence.
Yep.
So basically, all your votes count except for the votes that we screw up. And only.
So how do they know which ones screw up?
See, when smart people look at this stuff, it just gives it a whole new meaning.
So I read some of the other comments on there, on that thread. And I have to tell you, I don't believe that these people actually have been voting.
Without IDs?
Because you know, when I go to my safety deposit box, they pull a card, and that card has all the times I've ever gone into my safety deposit box, and there are a list of signatures there. That's the way the safety deposit box works. That's not the way the poll location works. When you go into a poll location, You don't sign the same card that you've signed the last 15 times you went in there. And that card doesn't move with you from one precinct to the next as you move, or from one state to the next. That's not how it works.
No, actually, this is when I go vote, and I always go vote at a polling station here in Hutto. I always go at the beginning part of the day when everybody's at work, and I do 100% support a federal holiday for voting. I think it should be. I think we should give everybody a day off so they can get to the polls. I think enough polls should be open throughout the day so that people have time to go vote. I think it's a very important part of being a citizen is voting, and I don't believe, I think that would be a great holiday. I think when you make it up there to Washington and I become your media guy, that we should push for that. That's just me. But anyway, I own my own business, so I can make my own schedule. So I slide on down there, and what happens is I walk up to the door, and there's a sign that says, "No cell phones or recording devices beyond this point." Or cell phones need to be turned off completely. So I just leave mine in the car because it's not going to take me forever to vote. So I leave it in the car. I go in, and the very first thing I do is when I get in line, the very first thing I'm asked is, do you have your voter registration card and ID? Now, a lot of times I don't have my voter card because, let's just face it. You get the voter card, you throw it in your day, you forget about it. But what I cannot go past that point without showing a picture ID. And they look at the ID, they look at me, they hand it back to me, and they say, go see the judge. And I'll go over to the judge. I'll hand her my ID, which is required. She takes my ID, she picks up the ballots, she matches my ID with my name on my ID with the name on a registry list for that precinct, for that for that area, finds my name, takes a little sticker that has numbers on it for tracking, puts it on my ballot, has me sign where she took the sticker off, then hands me my ballot and my ID back to me. That's happened every single time. Now,
notice that she did not pull a previous list with your signature on it.
No. There's nothing there to look at my signature and compare it with a previous signature or any signature, even the signature off my voter ID card. Now this year what I'm going to do is this, and I'm going to do it simply for this show. When I go vote on November 1st, when I walk into the polling area here in Hutto, Texas, I'm going to walk in with my ID in my pocket, but I'm going to walk in and say, I don't have my ID. I lost it. And I want to see what they say. And I bet you they say, I'm sorry, you can't vote without a picture ID. And if they don't ask me for a picture ID, I'm going to stop and say, why are you letting me vote when you don't even know who I am? I'm going to make a big deal out of it. I just wish I could record it. But I know what's going to happen. The guy that's at the very beginning is going to say, do you have your voter ID and your voter registration card? And I'm going to say, yeah, I got my ID. I don't have my card. He says, well, that's fine. Well, usually if you don't have your voter identification card, they'll ask you a couple other questions like, well, where do you live? I live here in Hutto. They make sure that you're in the right polling place.
Right.
Because you could be in the wrong polling place. And they say, well, if you live here, you need to go to the polling place over at the elementary school north of town or whatever. Mine's usually the city hall because I live like less than half a mile away. So, but this year I'm going to try it. I'm not going to take anything. I'm just going to walk in and say, I'm here to vote. And I don't have my ID with me. And see what they say. And that's how...
I don't think they'll let you vote.
I don't think they're going to let me vote either. In which case I'll say, oh, you know what? I've just found it in my pocket. I just wanted to see what you guys are going to say. Or I'll walk out and say, well, here, let me go get it. And I'll walk out and I'll act like I go get it and come back in and vote. I just want to see what they're going to say. Because I think
that's a great idea.
If they don't ask me for my ID, I'm going to stop them. I'm going to say, hey, how did I get this far? Why are you letting me vote when you don't even know who I am? I could be anybody. I could just look down on a list and say I'm Joe Schmo. I'm going to make a stink. They're not going to like me very much. But you know what? It's not going to happen. You know what the guy's going to tell me? You need to go get your ID.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
I mean, even the governor, when he voted the last time they had it on TV, I remember this because and it just kind of stuck in my mind. I don't know why. When he walked in, he handed over his Texas ID. It was the governor of the state. Hey, who doesn't know Governor Perry, right? I mean, he's been governor since the Alamo, so I mean, he's been governor forever. So who doesn't know that guy? And he had to hand over his ID.
Huh? You know, just because he's the governor doesn't mean he doesn't have to hand over ID. You know? Everybody should have to hand it. Everybody. I really don't know how you could function in our society without having some form of picture ID. I don't know how it's possible.
Well, then, of course, near the end of the thread, after proving or after saying, hey, if you guys are voting without your ID, you're breaking the law, and now they're saying, this just got ridiculous. I love messing with people on Facebook. That's the only reason I go on Facebook, really, to tell you the truth. I just go on there and I'll find some thread like this and I'll throw something out there like, oh, here's some facts. Chew on this for a little bit. Or here's some common sense. You know,
well, people are very. There are a lot of people that you know use Facebook as a place to vent or emote.
Yeah, I mean the problem is that people don't walk away from Facebook, and you got to turn off the news, and you got to turn off MSNBC, and you got to turn off CBS, and you got to turn off all that crap, and think for yourself, and look at things and read. And that's a big thing. Read the Constitution. You got to read the Federalist Papers if you'd like to know how the government works, if the federal government works. Then you'd understand why the rancher out in Nevada is so angry, because the Bureau of Land Management owns no real property at all. And the fees and fines that they're levying against ranchers aren't covered by anything. They just go out there and say, hey, we're the government. You need to give us money. And that's what he's... You know, but of course the propagandists are making it into something totally different. So it's good. My whole goal here with this radio show is to break away from that and to get folks like you and others on here who are constitutionalists, who understand the Constitution, who not only understand the Constitution but also are willing to share that knowledge with other people to get them out of the propagandists, because I'm the biggest enigma you could ever find. I'm pro-gun. I'm physically conservative. Meaning I'm a private business owner. I want low taxes. I'm not anti-government, but I think the government should be restrained to its original purpose, and that's to serve the people, not the other way around. And and if two people of the same sex want to marry each other, it's not my business.
It's none of the government's business.
And it's not the government's business either. And if it bothers me so much, if for some reason my religion or my social opinions or my whatever doesn't allow me to accept that, then I have the choice not to hang around those people, and I'll just go be lonely.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't like redheads, or you don't like short people, or you don't like whatever, you've certainly got the option to not be around them.
Absolutely. Well, Rebecca, thank you for coming on. Good luck in your race. Are you going to come back anytime? I'm trying to get the Jamie Belage on here. If you've got any, if you've talked to him or said hello, tell him I want him on the show.
Okay, I will talk to him.
When I was a cop, him and I went go to court together, and I had a lot of respect for him back then. He's the guy you want on your side for sure, because he knows more about the Constitution